The Romanian government, in its infinite wisdom, decided to give one of its priceless artifacts, the helmet from Kocofanești, which is a Dacian golden helmet dating more than 2,000 years old. And they gave it to the Dutch, who placed it in a tiny museum which didn't have the proper security, and apparently some thieves blew up the door there and they stole the helmet. And this sparked a lot of conversation between pro-EU groups and anti-EU groups, if you can believe it, where I guess like the pro-nationalists are basically saying, look, the West is incompetent to even defend and provide security for priceless material. Why do they keep pointing their finger at us? Like, this helmet existed in our country for decades and no one stole it. The moment you gave it to the Dutch government, it got stolen. Which is like, I understand the need for propaganda and that every event can be spinned in order to push a political narrative, but I think you're stretching with this one. It's a little bit of a stretch, right? Because it's not like every single day priceless artifacts get stolen from the Dutch. Before someone provides me links and proves me otherwise. But another talking point is that why did we give the helmet to the Dutch? They placed it in a tiny museum. It's not like we gave it so that it's being placed in the Louvre or some, grand British or another French museum of renown where thousands of people get there every week and they get to see it. It was placed in actually a very tiny museum. And so the question is why? Well, apparently it's because our government doesn't have crystal balls to read the future, right? Like something like this hasn't happened before. This is a thing of international prestige that the Dutch have lost. But secondly, it's to strengthen relationships with the Dutch. That's the main reason, I suppose. I'm pretty sure, we give a priceless artifact for them to keep, and in exchange, in the future, if we have a request, they give us something else. No one thought that some people are going to blow up the door to the museum and then steal the priceless artifact. Okay, but this is not the reason that I wanted to make the video. This is not even what I'm interested regarding the conversation around this. What I've noticed is the exact same arguments that existed when Notre Dame burned down, and the exact same people making the exact same talking points. And there's, I think, several groups. Some of the groups I agree, other groups I understand, while other groups piss me off. So let's go through the groups. There's people that genuinely don't care. And I think that's fine. I hate the type of moral busybodies that try to get people to force to care about certain issues. You can't possibly care about every single issue that happens in the world. Alright, this is one of them that you don't care. Maybe you're struggling to put food on the table and the helmet from Kocofanești isn't in your mind. That is okay. Not caring, I agree with it. You're tuning out. There's other news that you care about. Maybe there's shit that you care about that I don't. So I understand those people. Then there's the people that care, right? I myself am one of them. And it's fine for these people to talk and discuss, how can we prevent something like this from happening in the future? What does this mean for the reputation of the Dutch people? No, that's fine. Right? I'm in this camp myself. But then there's the camp that I generally despise, and their way of thinking really pissed me off. It's just a helmet, bro. Why do you care? At least nobody got hurt. Oh my god, when I hear this, it's at least nobody got hurt. But maybe somebody should get hurt. If somebody doesn't get hurt when they steal a priceless historical artifact, where should someone get hurt? The reason the helmet from Kocofanești is so important is that it shows that 2,000 years ago, there were people living here which had a culture capable of smelting gold. Smelting gold is actually a very incredibly difficult process. You need certain ovens that can reach very high temperatures. So you need to know how to manufacture the helmet. You need to know how to temper the gold. You need to know how to extract the gold. And so people doing this 2,000 years ago is quite impressive because it shows before we were born, there was a civilization which was capable of achieving certain feats of great renown. without using modern tools, without using electricity, without using the current software that we're having, without using the tools that we have. Like, they use primitive tools in order to smelt a helmet out of gold. And that's why it's impressive. That's why it should be on display. Those people couldn't write. They didn't have a written language, or if they did, they didn't leave anything behind. And so, this is what we know about them. And they fought against the Romans. Okay, so if you're in the individual that tells me that you don't care, like, that's fine. I don't like forcing people to care about shit. Like, if every single person on Earth cared about the helmet of Kotsofanesht, would it make a better world? No. It's fine if some people don't care. But what I really dislike, and what genuinely pissed me off, is when people say, why do you care? Like, as a functioning human being with a brain, you're supposed to at least understand why I care, even if you don't, right? Like, you're supposed to understand other people's motivations, even if you personally don't share them. Because I understand why some people don't care, but, like, the fact that you don't understand why I care pissed me off. And the reason that I care is, number one, these were my ancestors, so, like, there is a little bit of a connection there. You know, it's part of a nation's culture where you're supposed to feel proud of a person's achievements. I understand now with the woke ideology, you're always supposed to feel guilt when someone does something bad who lived like 500 years ago. But you're not supposed to feel any type of accomplishment when you know, like, there were people here that had a culture 2,000 years ago and they were capable of smelting shit. But the other thing is, like, alright, so you're basically saying that I shouldn't care about Notre Dame, that I shouldn't care about the helmet of Kotsofanesht, that I shouldn't care about any type of works of art or achievements that people did before me. And so, like, if these things, which, by the way, they seem to be at least monumental, like to be able to smelt gold with the tools and the technology people had 2,000 years ago without having written language, without being able to pass that information on a paper and an instruction manual, like, that impresses me. But you're saying it shouldn't. And so, like, if great works of art done back then aren't impressive, what the fuck are you doing now that's memorable? How can you even justify your existence if anything you do should be forgotten? Like, there should be absolutely no knowledge of what you did. Your entire life is fucking meaningless. Why do you breathe then? Like, what is the purpose then? And this is why a lot of people get pissed off. It's like, well, you're saying that Notre Dame doesn't have any meaning. Like it can burn down and no one should care about it. And it's like, okay, so, like, what can we possibly do in the now that people will care in the future? Because, like, monumental great works of art that astonish people to the point where they want to travel to France thousands of kilometers from wherever they are just to see the cathedral, you're saying, I mean, if it burns down, it burns down. This is what I hate, right? It's like the mentality that everything you do doesn't have any purpose, anything you do doesn't have any meaning, and I just don't understand how you can live like that. Like, I can understand a lot of things. I can understand how other people think. But, like, the idea that if you think like that, that you don't even want to make any type of contribution for mankind. Like, you're not even interested. And so, like, why are you even in my presence? Like, I don't want to associate with that type of people. I generally don't want to be friends with someone that has, like, this level of thinking. Because it brings me down. Like, why should I associate with people that think like that? Because I view it as a negative, fatalistic, non-positive thing to think. I'm not going to stop you from thinking it. I mean, go think it, but, like, do it away from me. Don't poison me with your negativity and pessimism. Ugh. So that's my take on it. And finally, like, there's the people that are absolute morons. The helmet was insured. Really? How much? $30 million. Oh my goodness. $30 million for the government. That's pocket change. Like, if you're talking about government level, $30 million is pocket change. But not only that, there's a very wise TV presenter in my country. Wise beyond its years. He made a good point. You can always print another $30 million. You cannot have another helmet from Kotsofanesht. That's why it's called priceless. Like, it existed for thousands of years. Meanwhile, you can craft another $30 million. I mean, especially nowadays, they print them all the time. And, you know, there's also a rich story regarding the helmet. Apparently, some kids found it, I think it was in 1920. So, like, from 1920, it managed to withstand world wars. It managed to withstand communism. It managed to withstand all this shit, but it didn't withstand the protection that the Dutch government was supposed to provide for it. Regarding the theft, I already assume like they had a buyer. People don't just steal this and then try to drop it off. I mean, it didn't happen though. Like there are people that were mentally deficient, and they have stolen some paintings. And when they went to appraise it, the expert, realizing that they're authentic, summoned the authorities. And when the cops came, the thieves, they started burning the paintings, hoping that the evidence is gone, but they couldn't burn all of them, and they found like the scorched, priceless paintings in the fire, and they got arrested. And so, like, people that are mentally deficient exist. I don't think like this may be the case. I generally think that maybe someone wanted the helmet for themselves. Would be possible, like, even if some of the people associated with where the helmet was placed. Like, it looked like a very small museum. Didn't seem to have much security, right? Like, usually these priceless artifacts, they go into major museums in capital centers where there's security, and they make sure that people can't just break in. Hey, look, it happens, like theft happens, but the authorities are supposed to also apprehend the criminals, right? So hopefully they will manage to figure out who stole it. Although from what I can see right now, people are acting as if it's gone forever. Like they will never manage to find the thief, which is interesting. Like no manhunt, no nothing. Like if someone types the N-word in Western Europe, they immediately manage to find out where they are. But if someone steals a priceless Dacian helmet, that's it. It's gone forever. Anyway, right. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.